I need you to ask questions if you have any. I didn't want to waste all your time to work, but I also wanted to cover enough of the topics that you're going to see on the assignment. If you have questions, stop me as I go. Okay, guys, here we go. Concept today. Variables are on both sides. When you have variables on both sides, most times, not all, but most times, you will be at 4 terms. Thank you, sir. That 4 terms will mean you have a variable on one side and a number on there, and then a variable and a number. You are going to solve this problem. You're going to solve this problem by moving all the variables to one side. You cannot do it without putting underneath stuff. Guys, listen, this is like a force field. Can't go through it. You cannot combine the 3x with the negative 14x. They are on different sides of the equal sign. When you need to move stuff from one side to the other, you got to go underneath. So we're going to move the negative 14 because it's the negative. And if we can get rid of a negative, we're going to do it. So I'm going to add 14x, add 14x. Can you get the right answer if you do minus 3x? Yes, you can. It's just going to create more negatives for you, but you absolutely can. Okay? When you do that, you bring down the negative 22 just like it is. You combine these like terms. These two are like terms. 3x plus 14x is going to give you a total of 17x equals negative 8. Once all the variables are on one side, then it looks like everything we've been doing for the last 2 weeks. Okay, we've got variables on one side. That means we need to move away from the variable. To get the 22 to move away from the variable, we need to add 22 to make it cancel it out. That's going to let that cancel out. We're going to bring down the 17x equals, and then we are going to combine these like terms. What is negative 8 plus 22? Negative 8 plus 22. 14. Thank you. From there, you're going to divide both sides by the coefficient. Which one of these numbers is the number that we need to divide by? Perfect. No issues with that. I won't ask that one again today. That lets us cancel out that 17. It's going to give us x equals. Now, 14 over 17 does not reduce. You can type in on the calculator, hit equals. It'll end up right back at the same thing. So that one is done at that point. Did anybody see anything? Again, we only have 5 of these, so does anybody see anything they need to ask about before I move on to example number 2? Yes? Take your time.
So like you said, you would have to do minus plus 14 if you couldn't do it minus.
It'll give you the exact same answer. Yep. You'll end up at the same answer, yes.
So, you know that it's basically a fraction, that's what you can use it at all.
Yeah, you can try typing it, Type it, guys, on your calculator. You need to know how to type it on the day of the test and see if it'll reduce. Type 14, fraction button 17, hit equals. Please do that. Try it. You need to know that. Is that okay? Okay. Yes, please try it on your calculator. If you don't know if it doesn't reduce or not, use your calculators. It can check you. Okay, guys, let's go to the second example. Example number 2 now has distributive property, combining like terms, and variables on both sides. We're kind of taking the ones off the test that we had issues with. I took those and changed the numbers so we could practice these again. When we have distributive property, that must be done first. That please, and please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, for order of operations means that you need to get rid of your parentheses first. So 2 times 8x, 2 times 4x is going to give you 8x. 2 times negative 1 is going to give you negative 2, and then you drop down the negative 8x equals. Now on the other side, a negative 5 times x is going to give you negative 5x, but when you multiply a negative 5 times a negative 2, what are you going to get? Positive 10. Positive 10. Now before I can do anything else, I do not have 2 terms on one side and 2 terms on the other, so I've got extra terms in there, which means I need to combine like terms. Okay? I'm going to take this 8x, and I'm going to combine it with this minus 8x. Circle the sign with the number, please. Circle the sign with the number. Now this is kind of unique though, because what do they do to each other, guys? They actually cancel each other out, which means you bring down negative 2 equals negative 5x plus 10. You kind of skip that variables on both sides because they cancel each other out. You go straight to having variables only on the right side this time. Since the variable's on the right, which number am I going to move next? 10. I got to get that 10 to go away by subtracting 10 or negative 10, however you want to say it. Negative 2 minus 10 more is going to put you at negative 12 equals negative 5x. You're going to divide both sides by negative 5. Now, you don't have a choice in this. That negative 5 cancels out. You're left with just x on this side. But before we do anything else, you don't need to type the double negatives in on the calculator, guys, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Now, type the 12 over 5. 12 fraction button 5 equals, it's going to give you a mixed number, second fraction button. It should end up back at just 12 over 5. It doesn't reduce, but it's good to try to reduce it on there. See how to do the second fraction button thing? Yes, please. You sure? Y is what? Because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. The negatives cancel each other out. Anybody else? If you type it on the calculator with the negatives, it'll cancel it out for you guys. If you don't know that rule, it's fine. Use the calculator, it'll check you. Anything on example number 2? Wonderful. Okay, here we go. Example number 3 involves our distributive property, and I really wanted to do this one because this one seemed to be a real issue, guys. I've got to get you to where you understand what number is here. What number is here if it says minus in front of a parentheses but nothing there? Negative 1. You're really distributing a negative 1 across that parentheses. And you cannot subtract first. Order of operations says I've got to get rid of these parentheses first, which means I need to multiply both of these by negative 5 before I can do anything with that negative 7. Alright? So I bring down the 3x. Negative 1 times 5x is going to be negative 5x. Negative 1 times positive 4 is going to be negative 4. And on the other side, I'm going to bring down the negative 7. Can't do anything with it. Then I'm going to multiply negative 5 times 2x is going to be negative 10x. And then negative 5 times 1 is going to be negative 5. Right? Now I've got like terms on both sides, guys. You can see I have 4 terms on one side, 3 terms on one side and 3 terms on the other side. And when I've got 3 and 3, that means I'm going to be dealing with combining like terms. I've got to get down to 2 and 2 or less. So I've got like terms over here with the 3x and the minus 5x. I'm going to take and do like terms over here, which is going to be the negative 7 and the negative 5. Alright, you're going to be combining those like terms together. You know, you only have 6 of these. You run out, you can't go anywhere. 6 is more than enough times to go in 9 weeks. Okay, what is 3x minus 5x? Negative 2x. Bring down the minus 4. On the other side, we've got the 7 and the negative 5. Now, guys, you got to type this in correctly. So grab your calculators. Make sure you type this in correctly. Hit 7, hit the negative button. Then minus 5 equals. It should give you, if you type it in correctly, negative 12. And then bring down the minus 10x. Okay, once you've done that, you now have variables on both sides, numbers on both sides. You're down to moving things underneath. Once you get to this point, I would move the bigger of the negatives, so I would do plus 10x, plus 10x. What is negative 2x plus 10x? 8x minus 4 equals negative 12. I'm then going to add 4, I get 8x equals, what was it, I'm sorry? Negative 8. Easy peasy, because that means when you divide both sides by 8, you're going to get x equals negative 1. Numbers were fairly easy at the end. Is there something you need to ask about on example number 3 before we keep going? We've got 2 more. They both involve fractions, I believe. I think that's what's left. Are they both fraction problems? Yeah. One, I think the fractions go away, bless you, and one, it doesn't. So quick. The one, it doesn't. Okay. Okay, let's go to the fraction problem, guys. Here we go. Grab your calculators, because this one, the fractions go away if you type this correctly. So we're going to distribute the 1/4 across here and the 1/9 across here. So grab calculators. Okay, 1 fraction of 4 times 16. You tell me. 4x minus. I go ahead and put my minus sign so I don't lose it. 1 fraction of 4 times 32. 8. Minus 8, however you want to say it. I already put my minus sign, so it was just 8 as far as that's concerned, or you can say negative 8, doesn't matter. Okay, 1/9 times 36. 4 again. Ooh, that's unique. Y'all see the 4x and 4x? That's going to be something unique. And then what's 1/9 times 18? 2. Is everybody okay with all that multiplying? Does anybody need to talk about typing any of those fractions on the calculator? Bless you. No? Okay, here we go. This is going to be a very short problem because watch what happens. When I go to move my variables to one side, I minus 4x, bless you, minus 4x. This cancels. I get negative 8 equals 2. My variables went away. So when my variables go away, I only have 2 choices. It's either set of all reals or no solution. Which one is this? Because they are not equal to each other, it is no solution. This is the actual answer to the question, guys. When you put an answer on the answer blank, that's what you write. For the words no solution, don't put both. I'm going to mark it off. You can give me one answer. That's it. Questions? Yep. They're not equal, so you need to get used to doing that. Yeah, your Algebra 2 teacher is going to expect you to start doing stuff like that. Yep. If they were equal, just leave it like it is, but since they're not, yeah. I'm trying to kind of build up those things. I try to show you and, you know, like, so that you're not, because I know you're not used to doing that, but I know where you're headed to, and they're going to expect you to be able to do that stuff. Okay, we got one left, but I don't think the fractions go away on this one. I think there's fractions and we have to use a common denominator. That's why this one is different than example number 4. And this is our last one, so ask me questions if you got any, guys. So here we go. And I think we have combining like terms on this one as well. So here we go. I kind of try to put a little more into this one. So 1/2 times 4 and 1/2 times 5, and then negative 4/7 times 3 and negative 4/7 times negative 2. That's what we're going to be doing, is distributing those numbers. So grab your calculators, do 1/2 times 4. 2x. Perfect. Plus, do 1/2 times 5. 5/2. Does anybody need me to talk about typing that in to get to the 5/2? Yes. And 1/2? Type second fraction button. Yeah. There you go. Anybody else? Second fraction button will take it from a mixed number to that fraction you need. Because you're going to have to get rid of the fraction in a second, and you're going to need, you can't do it with mixed numbers, guys. That's why we never use them. Okay, drop down the negative 3. And on the other side, multiply on your calculators, negative 4 fraction button 7, or I think you have to do 4 fraction button 7 negative on y'all's, times 3 equals, I don't know if you need the second fraction button. I think you do. Negative what? 12/7x. And then a negative times a negative, I already know that's going to be a positive. And what is negative 4/7 times negative 2? 8/7. It's positive, that's why it's a plus. Positive, that's why a plus. Now listen, We cannot get rid of our fractions. We still need to combine like terms. We still need to put together the like terms here. Okay? So we need to put together this plus 5 over 2 and this minus 3. So grab your calculators. This calculator work. We can't do underneath stuff. They're on the same side. We don't have 4 terms yet. We're not going to start doing all that stuff till we get down to 4 terms. We need to do 5 fraction button 2
Negative a half.
minus 3 equals. Gives you what, sweetie? I'm sorry.
Negative 1/2.
Okay, so we'll write it as minus 1/2. Did y'all get 1/2 and a negative 1/2?
Yes.
Okay, good. Equals negative 12 over 7x plus 8 over 7. Anybody need me to type through how to get this part of it? Anything about this? Okay, clear it out. So it'll be 5 fraction button 2 minus 3 equals, and then it's going to be, actually it's already a fraction. It doesn't need to be second fraction button because it's just negative 1/2. Is that okay? Yes.
How would the fraction be like?
You got to speak it up. I'm sorry.
How would the fraction of the number be like?
Oh, a fraction is a number, sweetie. It doesn't have a variable on it. If it doesn't have a variable, they're just considered constants. You got to put them together. 5 halves and 3, they're both numbers. Really, 3 is really a fraction too, guys. What's 3 really over? It's really over 1. So it's really a fraction. We just don't write it that way all the time. It's a good question. Yeah.
That's why we can't add or subtract or anything and put all the variables on one side.
We cannot combine like terms. We can't start moving and stuff until we got 4 terms, 2 and 2. So like here, we ended up doing it and it's got 2 terms over here, 2 terms over here, so then we start doing the underneath stuff. But here, we've got 3 terms on this side and we cannot start doing the underneath stuff until we get rid of it and get it down to, see, we've got a variable term, a non-variable term, a variable term, and a non-variable term. We've gotten it down to 4. So you have to do that combining like terms before you can start doing that underneath stuff. Good. Anybody else? Keep asking the questions, guys. Here we go. What will 2 and 7 both go into for a common denominator? 14. We're going to multiply everything by 14. Grab your calculators. We're going to need to multiply every single term by 14. Okay. So, what's 2 times 14? 28, and put the x on it. Thank you for remembering the x. Okay. Do 1/2 times 14. 7. Minus or negative, however you want to look at it. I've told you I don't care which way you look at it. Do negative 12 fraction button 7 times 14, or 12 fraction button 7 negative times 14. What do you get?
24.
Negative 24x plus, and then do 8 fraction button 7 times 14.
16.
Okay. Did anybody need me to type any one of those 4 terms? Anybody not get those numbers? Questions, concerns, anything about it? Okay, we need all the variables to be on one side. If I've got a negative, guys, I'm going to move the negative. Now that I'm down to 4 terms, a variable, a non-variable, a variable, a non-variable, I'm going to move the variable term to the other side first. Always move your variable term first. That's how you end up without messing up, oops, not the right one. That's how you end up not messing up the special cases. 28 plus 24 is going to give you 50, is it 2x? Minus 7 equals 16. Ooh, this is going to be a fraction. We're going to add 7 because we got to get away from the 52x. Guys, you've got to move away from where the variable is. You don't have a choice. Once we get variables on this side, the numbers need to go to the other side. That's going to make it 52x equals 23. We're going to divide both sides by 52. Now grab your calculators. Type 23 fraction button 52 equals. I don't think it reduces.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So, yes ma'am.
I did it like at the beginning when you did the fraction of 2 minus 3. I didn't do that. I did the I did times 14.
Mm-hmm.
On all those.
As long as you don't forget any term, it's fine to do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's number.
Yeah.
And then I got this again.
Yeah, you will. As long as you don't forget to do it to any term, you're fine. Yep. Yep. If you don't reduce it, it would be like a point off. Yeah, it wouldn't be all off. Anybody else? Is that a question? Okay. Okay, guys. So from here, please go ahead and take this, set of notes, excuse me, and put this in your note section of your folders. Please go ahead and get to your assignment sheets.